I am so thankful for the community that has already grown around my writing initiative and my book channel. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about how you, as a part of that community, how you are helping me write this novel. Hey, I'm Father Roderick, and if you're new here, I'm a priest, and I am also a first-time fantasy author. I'm currently writing my first fantasy novel, and in this series, I'm sharing with you what I learn along the way. So I started writing my novel on January the 1st, and I made a commitment to myself. Commitment was, I am going to write every single day. And I had to tell myself this because I know that as someone who suffers quite a bit from ADHD, I tend to have these special interests and I get all gung-ho about a new project and it's all exciting and gives me tons of dopamine. And then after that rush, it kind of dies down and I have a lot of trouble finishing what I begin. But I also know that one thing that has always worked for me is to create habits, to do the things that I really think are important, to make them part of a daily ritual. I do this also for this walk. I'm always walking every day after lunch and I record something. Could be a video like today. By the way, my heating works again. Oh, my house is warm. I'm so happy. But anyway, so walking, running, working out, and now also writing. And so no matter what, and it can be just 5 minutes, because there are days that my energy is low and I've been overwhelmed. I mean, the fight with the cold, seriously, I'd rather fight a dragon than to fight a house where it's 6 degrees Celsius all day long and all night long. So today, to be perfectly honest, I was really, really tired when I woke up. But I also know, well, you know what? I don't have to do everything. I can do a little bit today. And one of the things that I told myself is it's okay to not plot today, to not write any new character information. But what if you just write down a concise summary of the story so far? And that is going to help a lot of people who are now joining the community after 3 weeks of writing and have no clue what I'm talking about when I talk about, certain details in my story. So tonight, and you may not see this before I do this, but tonight in the afternoon at 5 p.m. Central European Time on this Saturday, the 25th of January, I'll be doing my first live stream. And this is because I've always wanted, this was the second commitment that I made is I'm not going to write this book all by myself. I was very inspired by Andy Weir and how he wrote The Martian. Now, I've only read the book when it came out and I wasn't even aware of this process, but I heard afterwards that he really wrote The Martian with his followers, with his audience. And in fact, they truly helped him with all the scientific research. And there was something about hearing that inspired me to do the same. And there were two reasons for that. First of all, I am totally new to writing fantasy. I've written a few books and a few essays. I've never written a fantasy story. So, and nor have I read much fantasy. There are a few bigger, well-known books that I've read, but I'm not yet a die-hard fantasy reader. I'm catching up quickly and I'm posting some reviews on this channel, but I feel that I could really benefit from asking, let's say, more experienced fantasy fans and authors also, to ask them for advice and for help. And I'm still in the early, let's say, the honeymoon phase with my story. So I'm absolutely convinced that there will be times where I will be completely stuck. And that community might actually be what pulls me through. So the reason that I do this live stream is because at least once a month, I want to be with that community and to interact with them in a let's say more intense way than I can do through these videos and just reading your comments, which by the way I really appreciate, and there's been gold in your comments, so thank you so much for always leaving a reaction. So during that live stream, and I hope to do this every month, I'm going to recap the story so far. So that's why today the only thing I need to do is to write down kind of the skeleton of the story, so I know I kind of refresh my own memory, and then I can share that with the community. There's an additional reason that I wanted to write this with the community, and that is I am a complete unknown author. Nobody knows that I'm doing this, except for you if you're watching this, but I know that, and this is my work, my real work as a priest. I work in the media, and I've been on television, I've been on radio, I've been doing podcasts, social media for as long as I can remember. Actually, I started with a Star Wars website when I was 38 years old. No, 28 years old. Oh my goodness, I'm so old. Anyway, so what I do know very well is that it is possible to create a community of like-minded people around your content. And I also know how to do that. But it does require quite a bit of effort and consistency. And this is why, in addition to writing every day, I wanted to create a video every day. It's not that I think that hundreds of people are going to watch these updates, but it does get me in this flow of creating turning this into a habit to always every day create short videos. And one of the strategies that I'm employing is obviously I think I would like the first target audience that I was thinking of was fellow fantasy authors, because they can teach me how to do this. But then I thought, well, you know what? It's actually the people that I truly want to have as part of my community are the people that love fantasy, because they're much more likely to read my book if it comes out, or to promote it, to tell other people, hey, you should check out this priest from the Netherlands who's writing this fantasy novel. And so in order to find that particular audience, I'm using the same techniques that I used 2 years ago when I first started on TikTok. Everybody at the time was talking about TikTok, not in the same way as people talk about it today. But I figured, you know what? I've always been podcasting. I've dabbled with YouTube. TikTok, yeah, let's do that. But then I'm a nobody on TikTok. My first video got, I think, 10 views, and that was it, or 20 views. But I kept at it. And at one point, so I was usually doing videos about the things that I love, you know, deeper layers in stories and movies and TV shows. And then someone asked me to go check out an anime series. I did that, and all of a sudden it was like lightning struck. It's like, this is what I'm going to talk about on this channel, because I can explain the symbolism in these anime series, and there's a lot of it, and it's amazing storytelling. And unfortunately, it is looked down upon by so many people. It's a bit like fantasy used to be, where people like, fantasy, that's for kids, you know, fairy tales. We know better. But the same thing is true about anime. I think it is a highly underestimated form of art. So I started to do anime videos, and that grew so quickly. But I made sure that every video was relevant to that audience. So how am I going to do that with this channel, where I'm talking about writing my first fantasy novel? Nobody's going to find that by searching. Well, it's very simple. It is to start with, I will not go there because there's a lot of mud. I'll return. I'll go this way. I will talk about the things that people already love. And so you might have seen videos or like TikToks or whatever, where people say, if you love this, and if you love this, then you might love this. And that is how I've discovered a lot of books, where it's like, yeah, I do like that genre. Yes, I love that book. I need to check that out. If they tell me it's similar. And so this is what I'm trying to do by, first of all, creating my own reviews, my own book reviews. So I think it's obvious that I should be a booktuber or a book talker or whatever you want to call it. And it means that I am looking at what do people that I would like to emulate. Well, how do they do it? Daniel Green is someone I've been following for years. And I love his style. It's so spontaneous. And he's a funny guy. And I like that he puts his personality in his videos. I've always been very scripted. And I think that's kind of the drawback of having worked for television for so long, where everything is scripted. But I'm learning to be much more myself. This is one of the reasons that I'm doing this every day. It is so that I can get into the habit of completely being myself, because I feel that that's a strength and not a weakness. Good Lord. It is so muddy here. All right, here. So that is something I know I can do it. But it's going to require a lot of focus and a lot of consistency to show up every day and trust that over time that audience will find me. And you know what? I'm very impatient because I've only been doing this for 3 weeks. I was like, man, I wish my videos would reach more people. But seriously, I think I looked at my stats on YouTube and my channel has grown more than 1,000%. And it's obviously still not very big. It's like around 850 people. But I started with 400. It used to be another channel. And so I just took the channel that I already had. But it means that I've doubled my subscribers in only, let's say, 2 weeks. So if I keep doing that, you get this compounding effect. And I have no doubt, and I'm going to prophesize here, I have no doubt that by the end of, let's say, by the end of February, I might have 5,000 followers on this channel. That's going to be an interesting one. Why did I say that? Now I have to make sure that it happens. Anyway, you are already here, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you know anyone else who is like you, has the same kind of interest and might be interested in following this kind of really weird verbose priest who babbles on about fantasy instead of being in church and doing stuff that the Pope would approve of, let them know that I really rely on word of mouth and on your help to grow this community. And of course, I'm showing up, and I hope you will too. So join me for that live stream if you have time, and hopefully I'll be able to go live more often, and we can actually chat a little bit more. So thank you so much for your advice, for your encouragements, and for your tips, and just for being you, for being part of my community. I wouldn't want to do this without you. So talk to you tomorrow, or maybe tonight during the live stream. See ya.